Welcome to Horror Coast to Coast, where we review a horror movie from opposite sides of the continental U.S. From the haunted woods of New England, I'm Brian.
And from the cursed coastline of California, I'm Michelle.
Today we're talking about Abigail from 2024.
Yeah, so Abigail, this is the story of a group of would-be criminals who kidnap a 12-year-old daughter of a powerful underworld figure, holding her for ransom in an isolated mansion. Their plan starts to unravel when they discover their young captive is actually a bloodthirsty vampire. So I thought that was, I don't know how I felt. I mean, the movie was, for the most part, at least for the first half, exactly what it purported to be. We have these disreputable folks who break into a mansion and hold a little girl hostage. And the girl is played by Alicia Weir, who is a Dublin-born Irish actress. And I don't know if you know anything about her, but she was recently, the first time I saw her was in the new Matilda movie, which was great. It's a musical, and she actually sings her vocal parts, which is always bold to me. And then I read that she also trained to do the little ballet routine at the beginning of this movie. So she's kind of she's a great little character actress, it seems.
Yeah, I didn't know her at all. I'd never heard of her, but yes, she was fantastic in this. And she gave me vibes of a young Michelle Trachtenberg. I don't know, just something about her reminded me of her. But yeah, she did a great job. I hadn't heard of her until I looked her up afterwards. And then I hadn't heard of that Matilda thing at all. I didn't know there was a reboot.
Yeah, the girls loved it. It's great. It's a musical, and it's got a little bit more backstory than the one from the 90s. I enjoyed it very much. I think it's a really good remake. And so Alicia Weir is currently 15, and so I assume when this was made, she was probably around 12 or 13, maybe.
Yeah.
And of course, I think she looks a little bit younger than that, even.
Yeah, she does.
But I am always really blown away and impressed by young kids that have such a presence when they act. And I really felt that.
Yeah, you don't see it very often.
Yeah, you don't see it that often. And I really felt that from her. And I was like, there's something going on. And I don't know. I'll tell you a little bit more about what I was thinking about as the movie went on. But going back, there's no real twist that we're waiting for, because it's revealed in the trailers. Basically, it's revealed in the summary. So there's no surprises, but maybe not none. Few surprises. And so we're just like along for the ride to see these despicable people get got.
Yeah. So I kind of wish I didn't know that she was a vampire, and it takes so long for the movie to get to that. It's strange that it's like the whole premise of the movie. This would be a great movie to just go in completely blind. But like, yeah, the trailers, like all I knew about it was that it was a little ballerina girl vampire movie. So I waited for that to drop for like an hour.
Yeah, from the trailers that I had seen, I actually thought the reveal happened immediately. And the majority of the movie was about them locked in this mansion being terrorized by her.
Yeah.
And that's kind of not what it was.
No, that's what the last third was.
Yeah, there are parts of it where that is the main plot happening, but I don't think that was the overall movie. And I have to say, if that was the overall movie, I might have liked it more. And going in blind, not knowing, and in the first maybe 10, 15 minutes, boom, the twist happens.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the movie is kind of like, oh shit, what do we do? I would have loved that.
I really like the cast of this movie.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So I didn't care about any of these people. I was like,
oh, not the characters, the actors.
Oh, okay. Okay, yes. So I was like, ooh.
I always love seeing Dan Stevens. I love seeing Kevin Durand. And Catherine Newton's just been like horror bangers lately.
Yeah. Well, I was like, "Ooh, what's Kevin Durant doing here?" And then I'm like, "Uh-oh, here comes Catherine Newton playing a rebel teen again." Like, I mean, she's pushing 30 and she's still playing a 16-year-old, which is great, great for her, but at the same time, I really like her, and I hate those characters, and I wanna see her do other things. Like, I want her to be on, like, a Micah what's her name?
Micah
Trajectory.
Monroe.
Yes, I want her to go on, like, a Micah Monroe trajectory and do these, like, hyper intense intellectual horror movies. Like, I think that would be so cool, for her, and I think she'd do a good job. And then, of course, Giancarlo Esposito. I mean, he's up to no good. You know he's up to no good.
I did think it was funny that Catherine Newton's character is a hacker and she had a dragon tattoo. Did you notice that?
I did not notice that. Huh. I didn't look that closely. I was really I judged these people very quickly, and I was like, "Okay, when did they die?" That was basically it for me.
Yeah, I did not love the characters, but I do love pretty much all of these actors.
Yeah.
And within the year is Dan Stevens doing his best Steve Buscemi impression.
The fuck did you say?
I didn't think of that, but now that you say it, yes, absolutely. That's very funny.
I was thinking about that the whole movie. I'm
Yeah.
like, he's doing a Steve Buscemi voice, and then with the glasses, those are totally the glasses a Steve Buscemi character would wear.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, Dan Stevens is a beautiful man, but those glasses brought him to this, like, 70s serial killer era,
Absolutely.
and then there's a moment where he takes them off, and he's still trying to play that dirtbag, and I'm like, now you're a model."
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I thought it was I loved to hate him, and he was great.
Yeah, he was probably my
Um,
favorite part.
so I wanted to go back to the directors because I think you said you didn't have a chance to look them up. The movie was directed by Tyler Gillette and Matt Bettinelli, who have teamed up recently to do the Scream movies,
Yeah.
which is, them being reunited here with Melissa Barrera because they did, I don't know how many they did. I think they did 5 and 6 or maybe just 6. And then they also did one of the shorts in the VHS movies.
Yep.
And then they did, what else did they do? Oh, they did a movie called Ready or Not.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I loved it.
I did not see Ready or Not. It looked like it was really good, and I did not see it. Yeah, so I didn't look them up going into this. I kind of looked them up as I was watching it, and I was like, okay, now I kind of see what's going on. But I don't know if I don't know how I felt. I don't know if I think it was consistent with their other material or not. Because if I think about VHS, I would have expected a little bit more. But then if I think about Scream, I would have expected less.
I would say out of everything you just listed, this is probably my least favorite. I did like the new Screams. I loved the first VHS, and Ready or Not was just great.
Yeah, I really liked VHS. And I didn't think this was consistent with the rest of their other work that I was aware of.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have the theme of real bad versus bad but has a good reason. And and I kind of hate that because I think these movies are not the place to impart those kind of nuances on your viewer. And like I get it, they're supposed to be this like uh, I don't know, I don't want to say anti-hero at all, but just an unsung hero, I suppose. The person that is running with a bad crowd but is going to have this redemption plot line. I don't know. That was a weak part for me.
Yeah. So I hated Melissa Barrera's character in this.
Yes.
She was such a amalgamation of just cliche
Final girl.
protagonist tropes.
Yeah.
Like she's super smart and
Yeah.
she's can for some reason overpower a guy who's 270 pounds of muscle. And also she has a bad past where she's a druggie, which doesn't really make sense why she's like the most badass person ever, but also like a recovering junkie, I guess. And then there's the
Yeah.
custody battle type thing where we saw that in like Five Nights at Freddy's
Oh, yeah.
and countless other horror movies. It's just a go-to. Like they just slapped all these things together, and then she doesn't really exhibit any personality. She's just kind of like, my biggest problem is that I care too much.
Yeah.
And if like for some reason she's with these criminals, she has to resort to kidnapping for reasons, but she's a good person.
And that was the other thing I didn't like about this movie. The underlying plot was stupid or non-existent. I can't decide. Like, what was the point of this? What was the point? Like, there are way easier ways to get money, especially if you're like a group of quote unquote professionals. Why this?
Yeah.
Knowing that you know nothing about the person you're committing this infraction against. You know nothing about the person. They could be this like crazy badass crime kingpin, which that's exactly what he turns out to be. You know nothing about it, and you go in knowing that you're a vulnerable. I mean, you have vulnerabilities in the sense that you don't want to be found out by the law or the person you're trying to slight. I just thought it was ridiculous. I was like, I don't get why they're doing this in the first place. It needed a stronger pull for me there.
Yeah, the motivation was flimsy. I agree. And especially Joey, as she's called. Like, her reason for doing this is so, like, tenuous and totally conflicts with everything we see on her character. Like, the character we see is completely different from the character they tell us about. And that's a big problem this movie has, is they just tell you everything about the characters. They don't bother to show you or develop it. They're just like, here's this character's entire biography in a monologue. First, they do it with her using her super powers of observation, where she gives us the little character traits for each of them. And then we get it later where we get their entire biographies. It's like, never heard of show don't tell. I know these guys have done this better than they did in this movie.
Yeah. And they all are supposedly in the same line of work, as in they're all criminals, but none of them seem to have any overlap except for the slight military connection. I was like, I don't know if you're going to find 5 characters this different and put them together to do this particular heist.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like, maybe Dan Stevens and Kevin Durant's characters I can kind of see being in on a heist. But everyone else is just way too different. There's no way they're going with like the bimbo hacker and the way too stoned getaway driver on this big important kidnapping mission. Why would Melissa Barrera's character be even involved in this?
Yeah.
Why is she so special?
Because junkie? I don't know. I didn't like her immediately because all the things you were saying before about the tropes. But I thought it was especially laid on thick that she was going to be the one that had the connection, and that would obviously lead her to be spared. I don't know. I just sometimes the final girl thing is just would beat Hill to the head with it. And this, I mean, like you said, she's got her super observational skills. She's super smart. And then she gets under the bad guy's skin right away, which is going to come back to haunt her. And it's like, okay, he's obviously going to take this way too personally. And you didn't read him very well if you poked him that much to start out, by the way. I mean, so much for super observational skills, right? If she had been able to read him that well, she should have known, yeah, I don't know if I even want to bother with this guy. I'm not even going to touch his $100 bill. Like, because I'm so good at figuring out people.
Yeah, and that was like the conclusion it seemed like she came to at first, and then she just went ahead and did it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I wrote in all caps. And pinky promises.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, she's clearly not going to die. They're not going to kill the character that makes a pinky promise with a little kid. But yeah, so I'll say by the time this girl transforms, I'm rooting for her. These fools are getting drunk on the job, which actually rubbed me the wrong way. I was so annoyed by that. I was like, what's happening? Who are you people? You're just just flagrantly drinking all this guy's alcohol, by the way. Like, is it theirs? Did they bring it? I don't know. They're just drinking all this booze, and the gross, like, implied flirtation between Kevin Durant and Katherine Newton's characters. I was like, oh my God, I can't. This is too cringe. Yeah. So let's get into some of the mythology here, because I was a little bit confused by the thrall concept. And we've seen different types of the head vampire, the one who sired them has some connection to them, but this was just straight up mind control, right?
Yep.
Is that a one aspect of these kinds of stories that I feel like I don't see very often?
I mean, I don't know if I've seen it this blatantly, but I've definitely seen like hints of it here and there.
Yeah.
But the mythology I really like is that the sunlight acts like a shotgun and blows her hand off. That was cool, and probably my most unexpected moment of the movie, because I've never seen sunlight be that heavily damaging before in any vampire lore.
Yeah. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know, thinking about the thrall thing, and then it was explained, but at the very end, Frank somehow doesn't have the ability. Like, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Well, she said that it takes a long time to learn the cool vampire abilities, and she said
Oh,
earlier she's like centuries years old, so
yeah.
that's why
Okay.
he couldn't, because he was like a 5-minute old vampire.
I think that makes sense. Yeah. So, let's see. What else did I have on here? Oh, yeah, I wrote super sad that the character played by Angus Cloud was not really a character.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
that was the only thing. That was the only thing I could think of after that.
You know what was kind of bullshit? Is that the Rickles character just seemed like he was gonna be like the one like decent character in this group, and then immediately dies before we even get to the vampire part of the movie. That was kind of
Oh,
bullshit.
yes. They totally just killed off the black dude.
Oh yeah.
I was like, wait, huh? We're still doing this?
Hey, he didn't die
And
first, he died
in the
second.
middle of a conversation,
Yep.
right? He's like in the middle of talking to her. And those kinds of things are always crazy. That's when you're really like, whoa, I was not expecting that. But this also felt like, wait, no, there was a plan. Hey, you just ruined the plan. I was waiting for the plan to play out. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was a miss for me. And I will say now, the overall story of this Lazar vampire didn't really fall into place for me. When she says, oh, he's coming back and he doesn't care about me, and I only did this to get his attention. It just, that underlying thing just was not motivation enough for me. It just felt like, I don't know. I sort of thought this should have been, you tried to break it and kidnap me, but little did you know. But then it ends up being, oh, I set you up. I brought you here because I'm trying to earn my dad's affection and love. And it just
Yeah.
felt, okay, now that this feels very Anne Rice, and I don't know if I care so much anymore. And then the end was just, all right, fine. Final girl gets her scene, and then she limps away while everyone else is dead, and all because she made a pinky promise.
Yeah, I've definitely
So,
seen pinky promises a few times at this point.
where else have you seen them?
I can't think off the top of my head, but this is a reoccurring thing where an adult character and a child make a pinky promise and they have to keep it, and then it comes back. It's like Chekhov's pinky promise.
I was gonna say the powers that be will do everything to make that pinky promise stand. Promises don't get broken in movies.
But I gotta say that the pinky promise is a better central through line than her vying for daddy's affection.
Yes, that's true. That is true. Especially since,
Because that was totally unnecessary.
well, I think I was confused by the fact that she was centuries centuries of years old. But at the same time, that whole thing felt like she was supposed to be a kid.
Yes.
And I understand that she's his progeny. And so that relationship may always exist. But at the same time, she was also supposed to be very mature. So I don't know. It didn't land for me.
They had like the I'm like 1,000 years old moment, and then they immediately just revert back to her being a regular 10-year-old. Like the whole time.
Right.
There's no mature aspect to her character other than like she has all this power over them, which is not because of her age.
When they have her in the cage and she's talking to them about just, you think you're in control, but I'm the one who's in control. I mean, I thought that was a moment where it was like, oh, she's more cognizant of what's happening than they realize. And I think for me, that read as maturity.
Yeah, but that's what I was talking about. They had that moment and then they just revert back, and the rest of the movie, she's just like acting like a 10-year-old the whole time again.
Yeah. Yeah, I was pretty upset that Frank was able to best her so easily, but she's the real bad guy in the movie.
Yeah, she should have had her all kinds of cool vampire tricks that she can like dunk on him with.
Yeah.
The flying reveal was pretty sick. I didn't see that coming when she just starts flying.
Yes, that was cool. I wish that we had seen more of Lazar. I wish that he had come in and he was the like main boss.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of the fact that Frank was the main boss.
Yeah, Lazar's part in this movie was so weak that I feel like it would have been better if the movie just ends with him like showing up and then like you have no idea Melissa Barrera's fate or anything. It's just like he shows up and he's super scary and then it's credits.
Yeah.
Because what they did, it just fizzled right out.
That would have been really good. Yeah, that would have been really good, actually, if he had shown up and the camera just pans over to him and he looks super scary and then end.
Yeah.
That probably would have redeemed a lot of the movie, because then you're like, oh, now what? I could imagine anything has happened at this point. But also, what other ending would have been sufficient? I don't know. So, yeah, overall, I'm going to say 1, because we kind of talked this out in 25 minutes, but also for all the other things we've talked about, this is a 3-star for me.
Yeah, I'm giving it 3.5. I thought it had its peaks and valleys, and the highs were pretty high, but there's definitely like some weak through line through the whole movie. And then there's some scenes that were just like the part where she's reading them, telling them their little traits was so like cliche.
Yeah, that was the attempt to wow us and convince us how observational and smart she is. Or she has some secret ability that you don't know the extent of, or we don't know the source of, or I don't know. There was definitely, this was an effort to make her seem mysterious.
So I knew this was radio silence, and they're usually pretty clever. So I thought that all of this was going to be in service of her being a vampire the whole time. Especially the way she like overpowered Kevin Durant's character, when it's like there's no way she would be able to if she was just a person. But she did, and there was no explanation. She's just a junkie who's super quick-witted and super fast reflexes and super strong for no reason. And that was my least
It would
favorite
have been
part.
awesome if she was Valdez. That would have been so sick. If at the very end, the two of them go hand in hand and like, we're like, okay, we better clean this mess up before he comes home. That would have been so good. Yeah, it's kind of fun to imagine alternate endings to this movie, because there's a lot that I feel could have been, that there's a lot to improve on.
Yeah, this script could have used a couple more drafts, I think. Almost there.
Yeah, agree. The special effects were great, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the overall craftsmanship of
Um,
the movie was pretty great. It all looked great, good sound design and everything.
yeah.
Yeah, so probably I agree with you there. The writing, the script probably needed a little bit more tweaking before it went to like the final storyboard. Um, but yeah. Okay, 3.5 stars, that's fair. I'm sticking to 3 because no, I don't know. I have a thing for characters that I like sometimes, and
Yeah, the characters were pretty weak.
when you fill the movie with characters I don't like, I get a little salty about that. So, and then the actual character I did like fizzled out, which was super lame. So, yeah. And then Giancarlo Esposito betrays them all, as we saw coming a mile away.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I think that may be it. We might have a short one here.
Yeah.
Unless there's anything else you want to add.
I think I pretty much said everything I wanted to say about it.
Okay. I will tell you one more thing I learned about Scream 7, which I don't understand why this franchise won't die, but Scream 7 was going to be directed by Tyler Gillette and the other guy whose last name Bednelli. But they had a scheduling conflict with this movie, and the person who took over for them fired Melissa Barrera because she posted some anti-Israeli comments. And in
I
response
think she
to
posted
that,
pro-Palestinian comments.
no, yes, but it was critical, right? And so in response to that, Jenny Ortega quit. And the studio apparently said that Jenny Ortega quit because there was a scheduling conflict with her Wednesday shooting schedule. And she went on social media and was like, actually, no, I left because Melissa left. And if I can't work with the same group of people, like the director's different, my co-star's different, I can't work with the same group of people, I don't want to do this, which I thought was pretty wild and awesome. But yeah, Scream 7, they're somehow reuniting all of the original cast.
Yep.
I don't know what storyline is going to bring back Campos Pizza from the dead, but that's what they're doing. So anyway, did you happen to peek at what the next movie is?
I believe it's Blood-Sucking Bastards. Even More Vampires.
Okay. Sounds fun. Yeah, awesome. Okay. Well, I can't wait. And yeah, till next time.
All right. Until next time. Hey there, quick correction. Melissa Barrera was fired by Spyglass Media Group, not Christopher Landon, who was set to take over after radio silence. Till next time, this has been Horror Coast to Coast.
Horror Coast to Coast is a movie review podcast featuring strong language, horror film spoilers, and discussions of violence, gore, and disturbing subject matter. Listener discretion is advised. This podcast is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike 4.0 International License. For additional information and other media content, visit theferalthread.com. Thanks for listening. Until next week.